Hello all, good morning. Let's start the today's session. In the demo session, we have seen actually what is Salesforce and what is CRM and what is the position of Salesforce and all. So today let's discuss about the basic terminology and how to sign up an account, how to start with the Salesforce account and all, so that we can discuss the data structures, data models and all. Let me open the notepad here. Okay, just to start with the Salesforce. Now let's take an example of, to say how the company start and all, how to create a trial account and all. Yesterday we are talking about the Audi car, right? So let's take an example of Audi only. Now, as I said in the demo session, for every company, they needs to deal with marketing, sales, and service. These are going to be like important clouds or modules which the company should have to deal with their business process from start to end. But for any product they want to sell, in the sense they need to do some marketing so that they can generate some leads, and after purchase, and then the service needs to be provided for the product. This is how the regular, whatever the business process they follow, this is how the start to end product, right? Now, as I said, maybe now the Audi was decided to go with the Salesforce. Now, to understand the Salesforce, in the previous session, we are discussing about what are the different editions we have, right? We have different editions. Yesterday, we are discussing, I guess, let me open that file there. Yeah, we have different editions as we discussed, like unlimited, professional, enterprise, group edition, and developer. Now, let's say based upon your users, the count of users and the API limits and all, of course, in detail, I will explain you in detail, but here we will choose the developer trial. So let's go with the developer trial here, and we'll explain you what is the difference of API limits and all once we logged into the developer trial account. Now let's go with the developer trail just to have understanding. Now, as if you are trying to search or learn or want to explore the functionality of the Salesforce, here the URL which you need to use for registering or creating an account of Salesforce is salesforce.com/signup. So this is the URL where we are going to use to create the Salesforce account there. There is different ways we have where you can create a Salesforce account, but my suggestion is to go with this particular URL. If you are going to sign up with your Salesforce free account with this URL, then this will be at least 3 to 4 months it will be there. There might be other techniques, like simply go to the Google and try to sign up Salesforce account. There is another links as well we have, but if you go with that, it will expire within 30 days, right? Just use this developer.salesforce.signup only. This is the link where we need to use to create the Salesforce account. Before going into the creating the Salesforce account, here we need to understand some basic terminology of how we are going to refer the basic tables there. To say, let's say if you are like any graduation, like BSc Computers or BTech, you aware of the C language or at least the database, SQL Server or Oracle or whatever maybe. We have a core subject like DBMS, Database Management Structure. So DBMS, let me take an example. Just let me compare with the DBMS, how the terminology we are going to refer here in terms of for the table and all, right? So why? Because the terminology is most important while you are working with some company. The terminology is most important. You should be using the correct terminology there. Actually, where you are going to have it one year, 2 years, or 3 years experience, the terminology will play a vital role. To say where actually you are going to quarter. So be cautious while using the terminology. So whatever the concept we are going to deal here, we are going to discuss about the terminology first, so that please make use of the same terminology throughout the course, right? Here, just after signing up, we are going to see some components there, like some objects. And for that, what's the terminology required here? So for that, just I'm comparing with the regular database, maybe SQL Server or Oracle, whatever. Here, let's compare with the Salesforce. Right? In database, what we will call? We will call the table. What is table? Table is like we have some columns there. Let's say student is a table, maybe student number, student name, student address. These are like columns in the table. Why this table is required? To capture the data, right? It's like general thing. What is database? To collect some, to have some data. How the data can be stored in terms of tables. What these tables consist of? Rows and columns. And these columns is like the column name, like student number, student name, and each rows has some data, right? Here we will call it as table, and the fields will have some columns there, and the data we will call it as records there, right? Here, example here, student is a table. This is a table. And student number, name, these all are columns, right? And let's say serial number 1, SURESH is the name. This is the record. Right? This is how in the database we will refer it. In the Salesforce, we should not use the name as table here. Instead of it, we should use an object, right? We should use it as object. And in the columns, instead of columns, we should use it as fields. And instead of records, we have the rows. But that's fine. In the Lightning Web components there, we are referring it as records as well. That's fine. Rows or records, that's fine. We can go with both rows or records here. That's fine. Previously, we used to call it as only rows. Now it is like rows or records. That's up to you. Coming to this one, table should be referred as object here in Salesforce, and column should be referred as fields, right? Getting my point? This is just for your basic terminology there. Now let's see how to create the Salesforce account, so that once we logged into the system, we can see what are the components we have and what is the UI user interface and all. What is the functionality we are going to check that we will check there. But for now, just try to create a Salesforce account, so that whatever the concept we are going to learn can have some implementation in our account itself. So this is the URL, as I said, which you need to use for registering the account. Here, the first name, Yaksha IT, I will take as 35. It's like my batch number. Here, the email you should provide whatever the email you are going to use. Yaksha IT AUG. That means to register an account, you should have some email ID. That's only sufficient. And the role is nothing but, here we are going to change the administrator. Regarding these roles and profiles and all, we'll explain you in depth while after logging into the system while discussing this roles concept there. So just for creating an account, please follow my steps only. With your email ID, go with the administrator role here. The company here, Yaksha IT Solutions is my company name here. And region, I will go with the India region. And state, Telangana, 5,72. And username, we can go with any username here. I will go with Yaksha IT 35 is my username. And you need to go with like at the rate, whatever you take, that's up to you. This domain should not, I mean to say, you don't need to have the domain like at the rate Gmail, at the rate Yahoo or something. You can go with at the rate Suresh or with your name as well. But this is the username which it would be helpful to log into your Salesforce account. Right here, I'm going with Yaksha IT 35 at the rate IT.com. Right here, just agree to the terms and conditions. Click on sign me up. This is a simple to create the Salesforce account as you are creating for the Gmail, right? It is as simple as that to create how you are creating a Gmail account. In the same way, you are going to create a Salesforce account. But here, just username, you should be with some domain here. That is like @ABC, @XYZ, anything is fine. But this is the username which you are going to use all the time. Here, almost there. Please check your email to verify your account. Now, one email will be required to your Gmail, the Gmail which you provided. Let me open my inbox here. Sometimes it takes 2 to 5 minutes as well. Usually it is expected within a minute, but nowadays it's taking time as well. So, and you need to wait for that. Here I could see, no, not it. So if it is not available in inbox, let's check with the spam as well. So still it's taking time to load. So I would request all of you also by tomorrow's class, please try to create a Salesforce account so that whatever the topics we are going to learn, going to see, and maybe not tomorrow, like maybe from Monday, we are going to implement some application. I mean to say some sort of project. I mean to say in the first, second, or third day, the project is going to be started. Whatever the concept we are trying to learn here, each and every concept, whatever the concept we are discussing, the same functionality we are applying on our application. That is like learning and practicing. So by end of the session, by end of the class, you are able to complete one project on your own with by touching all the concepts there. That's the plan, and that's the way we go here. And after the completion of the course, again, we are going to assign some new project there. You need to figure out and you need to complete all the functionality. So that please, this applicate this, I mean to say, the Salesforce account is mandatory for you guys. So whatever the tasks or whatever the things I'm performing here by uh, while explaining the class, that's you need to perform in your account. And if you, after while creating the functionality or while implementing something, if you encounter any issue, please ping in the WhatsApp group there. Okay, still it is taking time. Yeah, I could see here email. Welcome to Salesforce, verify your account. Sometimes this may be not landed in the inbox. Sometimes it may land in spam. So if it is in spam, go to the spam and check, make it as not spam. So whenever you are receiving the emails from the Salesforce, it will be in your inbox, right? Here, let's open this welcome to Salesforce. And this is like Salesforce logo. Thanks for signing up with the Salesforce and all. Click below to verify your account. This is your login after. Once you log in, this is your URL, your organization URL, I mean to say. This is your username. Just click on verify account. Enter a new password. Let me add some password here. I have given some password here. I just set the password for my account. This is the page where you are going to see the Salesforce, the first glance. This is the Salesforce page. Once you logged into your account, now let's say come back to our notepad here. Now let's say RD decided to go with the Salesforce and they have created some account. Now to do this thing, they need to understand how they need to set up and what are the functionalities they have and how about the users and all that. Now let's discuss that part. Now by seeing this one, this is the setup page. As you could see the setup. And this is the logo of Salesforce. You can add your own logos or your own images here that we will see. And this is nothing but the app launcher. This icon is nothing but the app launcher. App launcher is nothing but what are the applications you are going to have here. That is nothing but the clouds here, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, which I explained, or which we have. This is the place where you could see all the applications there. If you click on this app launcher, it will show you the list of applications available in the Salesforce account. Right now, if you want to see all the applications available, click on View All. These are the applications which is provided by the Salesforce. Now you see, it's like Salesforce application is like 60% application already developed. Why it is in the 60% in the sense? Based upon the global level requirement, like the Salesforce has like regular research and development team. They keep on upgrading their product, implementing the new functionality and all. And as I said, from marketing to service, it's like full package where the companies just plug and play. I mean to say they can create an account and they can have the sales, service and marketing strategies they can implement here. But still, based upon the requirement, now let's say ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank, both are competitors. They can't follow the same process. They should have their own techniques, their own strategies to attract the customers, right? So that they can implement new functionality to have such type of new strategies if they want. So Salesforce should allow to customize the system. That's the reason it's like 60% or 70% in the sense the functionality is already available. You can plug and play. But if you want to implement new functionality, the system will take care of it. I mean to say, as a developer, you can customize your system. That we will see how to customize or not. Now, these are the applications which is already provided by the system. Now, let's go to the sales here. You know what is sales like, which manages the sales life cycle and all. And from the app launcher, I can navigate to one sales application there. This is the sales application, how the look and feel will be. That is like user interface will looks like this. In the home page, these are like dashboards. In the dashboards, we can see some charts and the data. So by seeing this dashboard, we can have some idea like what is the closed deals and how much are in pipeline. Like 6.2 lakhs per open. Which how much revenue is in open, how much in won, and how much is lost, so that our top management can have some understanding about the data or about the customers, like what's the business we have with those customers. These are like opportunity is nothing but just try to understand the terminology here. Opportunity is nothing but this is an opportunity to the company from so and so customer. The opportunity to make business, right? It is like 6.2 lakhs is they have open opportunity. That means some of the customers are showing interest with this business, this much of business. 9.1 lakhs own in the sense already opportunity won. In the sense now it's ready to go with the invoice and sale process. Lost till now, no customer went back by seeing your invoices or with your quotations, zero lost. So by seeing this particular dashboard, the top management can have some picture on how the business is going on, right? This makes like dashboard, by seeing the dashboard, we can understand how the things happening in the company so that they can make some action plans to improvise their business. This is the sales application. Of course, we'll discuss each and every point in the coming classes as per the schedule, as per the content there. But by this app launcher, as I said, this is the app launcher where it shows all the list of applications available. And these applications, for each and every application, there is like different logic. That means if you are into any company or if you are into any project, that does not mean you are going to use each and every application here. So based upon your project sector, I mean to say, if you are like oil and industry, if you are like banking sector or whatever, based upon the requirement only, even though there is a lot of out of the standard applications, we are going to use as per the requirement. But here, if you understand sales, service, and 2 to 3 applications, it would be more than sufficient. The functionality and all, everything is same. Just you need to understand hard, I mean to say the structured Salesforce scenario here, so that how to create an objects and how to customize the system, how to configure the system, everything. If you understand that, that will fulfill your requirement to customize or to make use of the existing system here. Now let's understand the interface first. As I said, this is like app launcher and logo. App launcher, which helps you to understand the to navigate to the different applications there. And this we will call it as tabs. You know the tabs, right? If you want to interact with different objects here, again, what is object? We already discussed while comparing with the database. Object is nothing but this is sort of table in database where we are maintaining the data. Now let's say account is object we have. If you click on this account, it shows the list of accounts we have. So it maintains the data here. All accounts is nothing but these accounts is nothing but my customers. This is how you are going to maintain the data. My customer information in the accounts and contacts. What is this account and contact? Account may be like your company and contact is from who is the contact from the company. Now let's say Microsoft is an account, SURESH is a contact, right? So in that way, they have some relationship concept as well, where we are maintaining some relationship between the different objects and we are maintaining the data. Now to see this information, to access the objects, we have the tabs here. So whenever we are creating an object, for each and every object, we are going to create a tab, right? So that that object can be accessed by using the tabs. Here you could see multiple tabs there, even though if you want to add here, that's fine. But if you created only, I mean to say here in the tabs, you could see some few objects only. What if you want to access the different objects available in the system? That's also possible. The navigation for it is click on view all here. We have seen the list of application, right? If you scroll down, these are the all items. These are the different objects we have in the system. So let's click on this task. It will automatically open with the tab here. In order to see this information, you need to create a tab for each and every object, so that whenever you are calling, whenever you are accessing that particular object, this tab will be shown and this records can be accessed here, right? This is the tabs and this is, you know, like view profile, who logs into the system and what actually your ID and all. Now here it shows switch to Salesforce Classic. What is this Classic? Previously, Salesforce application we have in terms of Classic. All we have like Classic applications there. Now it is Lightning Experience applications. Now we are using Lightning Experience applications. This use it with the LWC components. Lightning Web Components we have, right? It is like entirely now applications, whatever the applications we are seeing, it is with the Lightning Web Components. Why this is in the sense, previously the applications is in Classic and now it was changed to Lightning Experience. Whatever the application you are seeing here, this is like Lightning Experience Cloud. The cloud or application, the terminology wise, it's fine. But in Salesforce, we used to call it as Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. Here it shows the app launcher, right? These all are clouds. Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Community Cloud, Salesforce Charter. It's sales. In this way, these are like clouds. So here, now it is whatever we are seeing, it is in the Lightning Experience format. But previously we have access. Now let's say we are in the sales now. Let's switch to Salesforce Classic. You could see how the look and feel. This is how the look and feel will be. This is the menu, the tabs and all. This is like Salesforce. It's like old application, old interface. Now the Salesforce got updated. It's almost 2 years now. 2 years or 2.5 years, I guess. It's almost it's upgraded to Lightning Experience now. Why this is in the sense, as per the new functionality, as per the new UI, look and feel got changed. Mainly the look and feel got changed and page loading time has improved while compared with the Classic and Lightning Experience there, right? To improvise the product, Salesforce is like, as I said, there is a research and development team. It's keep on upgrading your I mean to say the Salesforce software here. So in this process, it improved to the Lightning Experience page, where look and feel is something different. Look and feel is good, and the page loading time and the performance wise, it got improved. So still now, for now, you are able to access the classic, but in near future, this classic is totally going to be deprecated. You are not going to see this particular classic application in coming days. So that means it is totally going to be deprecated. Now, whatever the standard application, that is the system created, like system provided applications like sales, service and all, this is in Lightning experience only. And whatever the applications you are going to create, if you want to create new application as per the client requirement, those application we can create only in the Lightning experience. There is no classic file. Getting my point? So this is about the look and feel. Now to switch back to the Lightning experience, this is the button. Switch to Lightning experience. Now you could see the difference there on about the classic and Lightning experience page, right? And what is this one? Notification, as you know, for any application, for anything, there is some notification where this notification will consist of about this organization. Now let's say as an user, Yaksha IT 35 is my user, right? Now let's say if someone created a task for me, right? If some manager created task for me, once I log into the system, with the automation process, they can create some notification to the user Yaksha IT 35. So that whenever I am working somewhere, like I could have some notification here, which assigning that you have assigned with task. You have received an email notification. In that way, you can have some notifications can be triggered with the automation process. How and all, I will explain you when discussing this automation process. But this is the place where you could see the notifications. Whatever you are receiving the notification, that can be seen in this notification bell icon there. This is like settings or setup or gearbox, whatever you call, that's fine. As a terminology way, like gearbox settings or setup or whatever, that's fine. Here in India, we used to go with setup. In UK, customers, they will call it as gearbox. It's like different, but that's not that much this thing. You can go with the settings or setup, that's fine. Here it shows setup and service setup and developer console. This option will provide you provision to switch between the UI part. This is like front-end user, I could say. Now, this page, whatever you are seeing, this is just to visualize the data. I mean to say the front-end user who is exactly using your application. But as a developer or as an administrator, where you are going to work from the setup page. So to set up something, I said this is like tabs and this is objects and all. So if you want to create an object or if you want to change this object, if you want to add some more fields to these objects, or if you want to create some list views here. Here, while clicking these accounts, I could see some data there. And if you want to see this data information, if you click on this data, this is the page or the information where you are able to see about this account, right? The phone number and all. So if you want to make changes or if you want to configure all these things, this is the place where you are going to set. And this page, this front end, everything used by the front end users, like end users, we call it as a developer, as an administrator, this is the page where you are going to work. Right? Click on this setup. It will take you to the setup page. Once we created a Salesforce account in the first step, right? This is the page where we have seen this information, right? Why this was shown there? This is the page where you need to set up to start using your Salesforce account. You need to set up your page and all, your organization and all. So if you want to add your users, you need to add users in this page. If you want to set up your company's information, you need to see there. If you want to see the database size and all of your database and all, so you can get information all about, you know, what is settings, right? That means whatever the configuration you need to apply to the system, this is the page you are going to perform. And there may be a question like here in the, this is again the terminology wise. We regularly used to have configuration and customization. What is this configuration and what is this customization? Configuration and customization. Maybe in the real time, they will have some task with the configuration task, maybe some of the tasks with the customization. That means now this configuration will comes under, like if you want to create an users or security, right? This everything will comes under configuration part. And customization is nothing but you can have some developer activities, right? Developer activities by using FX code and all, and visual post pages and all. This all creating something like to extend the existing functionality. This everything comes under customization. This configuration part, majority of the configuration part can be completed by the administrator. I mean to say with the Salesforce admin content, which I explained, right? With the Salesforce administration content, you can able to complete 80 to 90% of the configuration part. But compared to the, but while for the development and all, this all comes into the customization. Customization is something which to extend the existing functionality, and configuration is something you are making use of the out-of-the-box functionality. Out-of-the-box functionality in the sense, whatever the functionality is provided by the Salesforce. Here, if you see here, in the say here, I could see some functionality. So if you want to change the properties and if you want to use these particular tables by changing the properties and all, that's everything comes under configuration only. But let's say if you want to create one table here, one object here, that is going to be the customizations again, right? This is nothing but the customization and configuration. That is just for your terminology purpose. That is basic terminology of configuration or customization. That is not only related to the Salesforce, but whatever the program or whatever the software which you are going to try or going to get the information, everything with this terminology only, right? Every software, any software, you are going to see this configuration, customization sort of terminology. Now, this setup page, which I explained, this is the page where you are going to have some configurations or customizations we are going to perform in this particular page. Now, let's keep this page aside and let's focus on the UI here. And in this setup, you could see one more service setup. What is this setup and service setup? This service setup, as you know, sales, service, and different applications or clouds we have. For service, there is something different setup we need to perform. Right? That means as a customer service agent, as you know, like if you want to have some customer service applications, how these customer care people will work, right? They may have some entitlements, they may have some contracts with the customers, then they have some service level agreements. And then total, the settings and all, it is something different while compared to the regular application. So the Salesforce here providing separate service setup for the service application, where you can configure your system related to your, I mean to say, this is related to your service setup, you can make use of this service setup, right? That is the separate navigation it is provided. And here you could see developer console. You know, if you want to write some code or something like FX code, you don't need to install any software separately. Here you can use this particular developer console to have some development there, right? This we are going to see in the development part. This is the settings or the setup page where it talks about. And if you want to have some Salesforce help, now let's say if you are working as a consultant with some of the company, and if you have if you come across any issue, like product issue or product bug or something, where as per the functionality, now let's say this is my setup page, and here I want to access the users. But for this, we have not done any development or anything. This is like out of the box functionality where the system should, once I click on users, it should show the users information there. This is expected output. But this page is not loading perfectly. Then that is not in our hands, right? That is not in our control. So if this sort of scenario, then what we need to do in general, we will write some ticket to the Salesforce, right? This is the page where you can take the help from the Salesforce. Question mark is there, right? Here, not only raising a ticket, here there is a get support where you can raise a support ticket and all. Not only this one, if you want to help, like it will have some links, like it will maintain some repository where it maintains some links or some documents. If you click on the search Salesforce help there, if you want to perform some actions like how to create user, it will give some links so that it will take you to the self-learning. Add a single user. It shows instead of going to the Google, there is some repository maintained by the Salesforce itself, where you can have some documents is available here. Just for self-explanatory or self-learning purpose, you can use this Salesforce help. Otherwise, and also you can have some support where you can, if you want to raise a ticket to the Salesforce, in order like to fix your product issues or something, which you are not able to perform from your end. If you would like to have the Salesforce account help, you can raise a ticket from here. This is about the question mark. Right, guidance center, again, this is sort of to provide some guidance. It has some, I mean to say, the documents only, the articles, if it is any upcoming releases or the latest things we have, the functionality which is going to implement and all. This has some guidance center, like if you step by step, you could see some, it's again the same, like help, you could see some documents we maintain in this repository as well. This like self-explanatory and self-learning purpose. This we will call it as global action. Plus symbol you could see as global action. This global actions is nothing but wherever you are, like in which tab you are. Now let's say I'm in currently in the accounts tab. And if you would like to create a task immediately. So for that, instead of going to the task and creating a new task here, by using this global currently, now let's say I'm in this particular account, which I'm just going through this account details. And now I just got a phone call or something, just want to create a new task there. Instead of dropping in middle of my work, I can make use of this global action so that I can create a task here. I'm on the same page, in the accounts page only, but I'm able to create a task. This is nothing but the global action, where some of the global actions, like again, why this some of the global actions is available for event, contact, but why not for account in the sense? As I said, Salesforce is developed based upon the global interactions, like throughout the globe, Salesforce is used by different organizations, right? Based upon the general requirement, they have placed some global actions here. But if you want to have some more global actions there, you can add that one. But we will see how to add the global actions, right? So these global actions is nothing but on the same page, you can create some records in these particular objects. This is global action. And this is like favorite list. And if you want to have some favorite list, that's you can have this particular account is my favorite list, right? This is how now it shows my favorite list. Whenever if you want to access the record directly from the favorite list, you can select this particular record, right? This is the favorite list. And here you could see the search. This search will work while creating an object. We are going to enable some searches to the objects. Now let's say here we have the accounts and contacts and different objects we have, right, in the tabs. So whenever we are creating an object, we can control the search there. Now let's say if I am searching some value here, let me go with, okay. If I am searching the value here, it shows the search results wherever this I have the result with the dict. Here with the dict, I have the record on account, and on contacts I have one information, and again in the opportunities object I have the information about the concern. This search will work as global search. Global search in the sense throughout the organization. If you want to work with the data, you can go with this search option. Getting my point? So, but while creating an object itself, you can have control whether you are going to provide this for search or not. That's up to you. While creating an account, you can control the functionality, right? This is about the search and all. Now we have seen what actually the look and feel. I mean to say, what is the app launcher we have seen, what is the tabs, and how the data can be accessed we have seen. And we have discussed about the classic and lightning experience page. We have seen the difference and about the global actions and setup and all, right? Now let's try to understand, like, before creating something or before setting something, let's see what actually the objects consist, what actually the objects we are having in the Salesforce account. So here we are able to see different objects, I mean to say, in the tabs and all, but how this was created, I mean to say, as a Salesforce developer, as a Salesforce learner, you need to understand whether it's not like you are not the end user. That means just plug and play. You are not going to do the plug and play here. I mean to say, just creating a Salesforce account and you are not going to add the data on all, right? But actually, the requirement here is like we need to understand how the Salesforce got created. I mean to say how these particular applications or the clouds has implemented, And if you want to change something, where you are going to change this? That means we need to focus more on configuration and customization instead of using the application. Of course, we should know that. But here the main goal is like the main agenda here is like we need to understand what is the backend. The front end UI part, simply by logging into the system, the end user can understand where the tabs and how to access it. By knowing the terminology, they can access it. But as a developer, as a consultant, you need to understand how to set up and how to configure all this stuff, right? Now, let's see like what is this objects and all, where it actually consists. For that, as I said, whatever the functionality you are doing, like backend thing, if you want to interact with the backend or configuration or customization page, we should be in the setup, right? Go to the setup here, click on setup. It shows the setup, the same page once we created a Salesforce account, right? Here, let's discuss about this page now. Here, in the previous application, it shows like sales. Here it will show in which application you are. In the same way, here it explains you are in the setup page, right? This home, this is like home page. And object manager is the extra tab we have. What this object manager consists? You know what is object that we just now we have seen? What is objects and all, right? Now, all the list of objects available in the system will be available in this object manager. Click on this object manager. These are the list of objects. Now I could see account, activity, address in this way. It shows nearly 135, I guess, 135 plus items. You can 103 plus, it will load. So many objects are available, 153. So many objects are available in the system. Is everything 199, right? So it's purely based upon the licenses which you bought and how many clouds you have taken. So based upon the requirement, here these are the list of objects available. That means the database is already available and some of the objects already created. That's what I'm telling, right? 60 to 70% of the application is already available. That means based upon the requirement, global level requirement, Salesforce already created some objects here. Just you need to make use of these objects. Here it shows the type, right? It shows standard object. What is the standard object? Standard object is nothing but the object which is created by the system. This is nothing but the standard object. And what are the types of objects and all we are going to see in the data model. That is in the tomorrow's class, we are going to see the data model that you can in depth, I can explain you what are the object types we have and what we have with the objects. But here, let's try to understand the interface and all first in the setup. Previously, we have seen the UI for the front end. Now, in the setup, this is the object manager place where you are going to interact regularly, where you are going to develop something, right? The label is nothing but the label name of the object, like account, where you are able to see in the front end, right? This is the label name. And API name, what is this API? API is nothing but application programming interface. Application programming interface. And I'm going to share these notes every day in the WhatsApp group so that these notes will be for your reference only. This is not for something to preparation or something. This is just for reference. I'm going to share these notes every day in the WhatsApp group so that for your reference. API is like application programming interface. That means whenever you are trying to create any component, what is component again? The new word which we are using, component. Here it is like object. Components is nothing but maybe it's like field, whatever the field you are creating or whatever the functionality you are creating, that everything will consider as components only. Here for every component or for every object or the field or whatever you are going to create, system will create some system name. Right? That we will call it as schema name as well. You can also call it as schema name, system name, or API name. Now, if you are going to create a name with account, this is the display name, how the user can access this particular object account. And system will create the API name based upon the label which you provided. If you give account, it is account. If you give SURESH, it is SURESH. It will take the same name. But in later part, you can edit the label name, but you can't edit the API name. Getting my point? Now, let's say you created with account. Account got created with the same name. Now, you have renamed account to account ABC. But the schema name will not be changed. Once you create any account, any object, or any, not only object, any fields or anything, API name will not be changed. That is like unique. Once it is created, it can't be changed, right? And what is this type? This type is nothing but this type. By seeing this type, we can understand this is like standard object in the sense, standard in the sense, this is like, this is created by the system. This is created by the system, and this is system object. You can't delete the system components. We can't delete the system component. Just remember this thing. We can't delete the system component. And this is about the object manager. Here you could see some of the lists here. Like we are going to, like based upon the requirement, we are going to use our, we are going to configure our system. Now, as an audi or as an user, we just started with the developer.signup. Now, to make use of this particular application or this particular Salesforce software, we should create some users, right? Where this users configuration or not. Here, again, in this setup, here you could see the users, right? Expand this users. Here it shows the users. Click on this users. So these are the list of users available. We have created Yaksha IT 35 is one user, right? This is the user which we created while signing in. Now, if you want to create a user, here click on this new user button. And this is the page where you need to fill all the information, right? That means this all comes under configuration only. So to start using this application, you should have some developers information. You should create some developer accounts and all, right? This is where you are going to create a developer accounts. Here, that means this is your organization URL. You know what is organization URL and all, right? To access the system. And one thing, for every time to log into the system, you don't need to remember this particular URL. Now, let's say this is my instance which I created, right? This is my instance. So for every time while you are logging, you don't need to use this particular, you don't need to use this, I mean to say, you don't need to use this particular URL. So instead of it, simply you can use login.salesforce.com. You can make use of, you can make use of this URL so that based upon your username and password, it will automatically route to your organization URL, right? Let me log out. So once you created a developer account and all, so simply next time to access your system, just make use of login.salesforce.com, right? So it will ask for your username and password there. Just use Yaksha IT 35 @it.com. This is the username which we provided, right? And username and password. So it will automatically redirect to, based upon your credentials, the username, it will automatically take you to your URL page, organization URL. That is Yaksha IT Solutions that we have created, right? This one. It will automatically take to Yaksha IT Solutions 16. So this is the password I have given. I guess so you have given some wrong password, I guess. Okay, you can go with the forgot your password, that's fine. No issue. Okay, it's almost 11:22. We'll continue in the tomorrow's class, and let me take the question. There is a question in the chat. And before that, please, once the class is done, I will take all the questions in the daily sessions, no issue. Here there is a question from Shan. How to know how many servers are there or how many clouds are there? Okay. So here, regarding this servers, Shan, how the Salesforce will, it is like multi-tenant architecture. This is the architecture which the Salesforce will use. Of course, in the coming class, I'm going to discuss about this. But just for your understanding, just I'm taking the part here. Like now, let's say if you are going with the Sales Cloud, we are having with the Sales Cloud. In the system, the Salesforce CRM will provide some space in one tenant for the Sales Cloud. That means now you are the company from Yaksha IT Solutions. There may be ABC, XYZ company. All the companies will use some space from this tenant only. That means multi-tenant in the sense that particular tenant will be used by different organization, but the Salesforce will take care of the security and all. So it is not going to interact with any other database based upon the security, and they will have some layers there, security layers. That's how this multi-tenant architecture will deal. That means now let's say oil and industry. There is an oil industry organization, the companies, and there is a banking organization, and there is some automobiles. So for the automobiles, they will maintain some server, some space in the server, and for the banking, they will maintain some separate server. So all the banking related information will be stored in this particular banking space there, and for the automobile, separate space. This is how they will maintain. This is about the tenant, and we'll discuss in detail in the coming classes. But to answer your question, like how many applications can be there in one Salesforce account? Now currently where you are able to see, right, from the app launcher. From the app launcher, we are able to see some of the applications. That's the existing application which Salesforce currently providing. Right? Like sales cloud, service cloud, marketing cloud, and community cloud, chatter post. Its chatter post is something where you are going to use it for internal communication purpose. Like different applications which is going to provide. So whatever we are seeing in the app launcher, currently those are the applications which Salesforce provides. I guess I hope I answered your question, Shiva. And please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, please feel free to ping in the chat as well. Is there any class inheritance concept during development? Yes, we start with the development classes with the OOPS concept there. You know the OOPS concept, right? Abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. And everything we will provide some basic understanding of, even though some of the guys will be not from the technical background, I mean to say without any technical knowledge, but still in the development session, first 5 to 10 classes will be with the basic, providing basics on the OOPS concepts and all, and what is variable, what is class, what is object, and what is OOPS concepts and all. From there, actually, we will start the Apex code. As I said, Apex, for the learning Apex, OOPS concept is must. So without knowing the OOPS concept, like inheritance also will come into the OOPS concept. Without understanding these concepts, we can't make in Apex. So we'll cover this concept. To answer your question, yes, we are going to take the inheritance class, inheritance concept as well. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm done with my class. Please let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, if no questions, we can write. Just a brief on difference between Pega and Salesforce. Pega, they are using the ERP based model, Shell, as per my knowledge, but I didn't work in Pega. But just based upon the market thing, Pega is they are using still the ERP module, not into the customer relationship management. Totally, it is something different when compared to the ERP and CRM. CRM will has more friendly nature. I mean to say where you can interact with different solutions, where you can integrate and you can play with. I mean to say you can integrate with SharePoints or different document repositories like Quip here. Microsoft, they will use SharePoint. In Salesforce, we are going to use Quip, QUIP, for document management, and we have some different mailing thing, and we can also interact with social networking sites and all. But in the ERP, that is not going to work there. So that means to reach the customers, the Salesforce is going to be good technology, and Pega is like outdated. Outdated in the sense, but I can't say outdated. So many companies still using it, but that's ERP based, and this is like customer relationship management, CRM based. Okay. So I guess I have answered all the queries here. Yeah, I will take the silence as no questions, and we'll wind up the session for today, and we'll continue in the tomorrow's, like the regular class will be 10:30 to 11:30. As I said, please go through the developer creation of the developer account, where we are going to, from tomorrow, we are going to create some objects as well to understand the functionality, so that we can be with the, we can also can create and we start building an application as well, so that you can get some hands-on experience there. Yeah, by tomorrow, please create an account so that you will be ready with the topics which you are going to discuss. Yeah, thank you all.